You should be selling 6 to 8 times what you're spending. Now, if you're crushing it more than that, rock on. We had some people that run our leads in our software that 20x'd what they spent. So
big changes to Facebook ads. So there are so many different ways that people are generating leads for life insurance. Facebook is a huge one. Now, I know people who are still doing just generic internet leads, direct mail, mail drops. Some people do YouTube, Google. I mean, man, you can get on Rumble, X, TikTok. There's so many, but Facebook, tried and true, is the way that many people are creating digital leads. So big changes have come to Facebook. So Josh, you're talking a little bit in the beginning here about some agents have been hitting you up being like, hey, my ads were working great and now they're not. And then they're coming to us going, hey guys, I don't even care if your leads are, halfway decent or if they're bad. I just need a vendor because my other one's completely shut off and they don't work anymore and the quality's gone down. And we're like, hey, we're experiencing the exact same thing. So we're over here figuring out how to make changes because here's the big news. All life insurance leads, all life insurance ads have now been added to a special ad category. So a handful of years ago, mortgage protection leads. So this is why mortgage protection Facebook leads have never really taken off. You think like, why did social media IUL leads take off and mortgage protection social media leads didn't take off? People tried it, but it's always been the mailers that have been the most successful. Why? Because you cannot target on mortgage protection ads because it goes into a special ad category called housing. In that housing category, there's no targeting. So up until this point, you've been able to go in and say, hey, I want to target people in this state. Thankfully, we can still target by the state because, we can only sell where we're licensed. Thankfully, hopefully they don't take that away. So we can target by the state, but we used to be able to target, I want people 18 to 50 who make over 100K a year, who are interested in XYZ, who also blah, 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 blah. And you can take 6 different targets, put it together, and you can optimize an ad for that target. Now, basically it's switched to open targeting. So what does that mean? Special ad category, life insurance, there is no targeting other than state. And how do you target? Well, you use Facebook's new AI open targeting that basically says, we're going to learn for you. You put out an ad, we'll let you know who clicks on it. And the people who click on it, we're going to show it to more of those people. So as these changes started to happen, you go, okay, well, I'm noticing that everyone is filling out this lead. They're all 65 and broke and have heart attacks. Facebook goes, I got a good idea. It seems like your content, people who are 65 and broke and have heart attacks really love your content. Let's show it to more of them. And you're like, what the heck? It's getting worse because they're going, well, it looks like these people like your content. Let's show it to more of them. So in our business, like just because people like our content doesn't mean that's who we want to actually talk to. So how do we go ahead and target in the future? That's what we can talk about now and how agents are dealing with it.
Yeah. So, again, some of the conversations that we've had, right? We've had folks that maybe talk to some folks that have ran their own ads for years. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, they stop performing. And it's like, you have a choice to make. It's like, do you spend more time away from selling? Do you go spend a bunch of money on somebody that maybe they have the answer or maybe they don't? And ultimately, my thing is, even before we started, building Lead Champ, I paid an agency to do the ads for me. I'm like, you guys do it. I just need people to talk to. And that way my attention and my focus is on selling, which really is like, that's where the big money's at, right? Going out and helping clients. And so that's what I did. And now obviously, I don't just work for Lead Champ. I'm a user too, right? That whole thing. But that's one conversation we've had. We've had others, like you said, where everything was fine and they're still getting leads, but all of the people are way outside of the demographics of what they can help. They're too old, they're too sick, those kinds of things. And so now, with that said, you can't say, I want to talk to 30 to 50-year-olds. You can't say, I just want to talk to this demographic. You can't say, I just want to talk to the wealthy people, right? You can't do that anymore. And so it's interesting to see kind of what's going on out there and what people are getting. So there's kind of a couple of camps, right? So Jamie, with all, I mean, you at your peak, you had a $10 million a year agency.
Yes.
Okay. So you worked with a ton of agents, me being one of them. And how many times have you talked to an agent that's like, oh man, these leads are trash. I want to get the good leads, right? Like they're on this search to find the perfect lead, right?
Every day.
Every day. So one camp out there is they're running ads on Meta, and they're doing it in the lowest cost way possible to generate the most number of phone numbers, right? What I mean is low CPL, cost per lead, generate a lot of them. Now, these are not going to be high intent individuals. These are not going to be highly qualified individuals. Now, if you get enough of them, you'll find some good ones, right? If you're willing to go through it, that's not a bad strategy. Just give me a whole pile of phone numbers. I'll find the good ones. But many of us out there, right? We're lead snobs. We only want to talk to qualified people. And how many promises out there in ad land are insurance agents getting hit up with of a promise of a better lead tomorrow, right? We're going to deliver you high intent people that have $100,000 a month to spend. They all can qualify and you're going to get rich. We're going to send appointments to you.
Yeah. I mean, the promises and the guarantees are definitely out there. And I haven't met anyone, including us, who can fulfill on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one strategy, right? Let's just, whatever we have to do to have the best hook, let's get rich like the Rockefellers in order to generate leads. And then we're going to do it so we can get the lowest cost lead. And, if you're a vendor, that's the best way to do it. So low cost lead, you sell them for higher. That's how you make a profit. Then on the other hand, there's some folks out there that are still on the pursuit of trying to have like the highest quality of lead using
video sales letter, VSL.
There we go. They're doing this and fancy landing pages. And we've talked to those people and they have high cost per lead, but they're generating, a higher intent lead, maybe a higher qualified lead. And so you have these both ends of the spectrum, right? And kind of our motto this whole time is like, we want to be in the middle. We serve middle income America. We want enough at bats that we don't have to be super talented. Like I would love to say that I'm the best salesperson ever to grace, in the insurance land, but I know that's not true, right? So I need enough numbers so I can be good enough to find the clients that need the help. But also, it has been nice. Jamie, has this happened to you since we've been doing this where you call somebody and they go, oh, hi, Jamie. And you're like, oh, yeah, hey, I'm just calling you for our 2:00. And did you watch the video? Oh, yeah, watch the video. Yeah, I like, this is kind of what I'm interested in. And they tell you what they're interested in, and then you just get them qualified. That's nice when that happens. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. No, it doesn't. But we've been able to see that happen 15 to 20% of the time. We like that. We would like to keep doing that. And so kind of our strategy is not to have the lowest cost per lead, not to only try to target the absolute rich, but be in the middle where the majority of agents that are good agents that have really applied themselves can win on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and I think that kind of brings us to like the two different models of buying leads. You've got buy per lead and you've got a management model. So on a buy per lead model, Josh kind of alluded to it. You are buying them at a retail cost. And obviously that lead vendor marketing agency, they are, let's say, generating them for $8 a lead and selling to you for $20 a lead. They're making a $12 profit. And then you've got a management deal where they could charge you $500, $1,000, $2,000. I've seen people charge some crazy prices to manage your Facebook ad campaign. And then they put your card on file with Facebook and you're going
$500 up front. I talked to somebody this week.
$6,500 up front to set up your Facebook campaign, which is wild. And you're going to have your card on file with Facebook and you're going to see transparently what your cost per lead is. Now, here's kind of the thing that we've discovered when it comes to buy per lead versus management. Now, when it comes to buy per lead, I'm sure anybody who's bought a buy per lead list has experienced this where one batch was amazing, and then the next batch was horrible, and then the next batch was horrible, and the next batch was amazing, and it's a mixed bag, and you're not really sure what you're going to get, but you kind of can budget because I can afford 40 leads this week. And that's what happens with buy per lead. With buy per lead, you are buying into a cost per lead that I will pay $27 a lead. That's what I can do. And I can expect that. And I know if I spend, $1,000, this is how many leads I'm going to get. And I'm going to spend $1,000 a week. And this is what I budget for. And sometimes those leads are good and sometimes they're not. What's happening on the back end is the cost per lead is a roller coaster based on what's going on in Facebook ad land, what's going on in the world. When it came to November 5th and, the election, everybody's ads were crazy because we're competing against politicians who are trying to get elected. When it came to Black Friday and Christmas, everyone's ads were going crazy. And on the buy per lead side, you don't feel it in the cost perspective. You feel it on the quality. So it's like around that time, what's happening is the cost per lead internally goes from $8 to $19, but they're charging you $20. So what happens? The buy per lead company, they turn off their top performing ad and they turn on, their B or their C ad, the ones that are a lower cost per lead, lower intent, not to make fun of some people, but they're Amazon gift card ads like, hey, fill this out and we'll give you a free Amazon gift card if you get a quote for life insurance. Like there's all kinds of stuff that people do to them, bring down their cost per lead to get you the numbers so they can fulfill on the order that they set. So with buy per lead, what you're going to have is you're going to have a consistent cost, but your quality is going to go like this. Then on the management front, different school of thought, you're going to have a fluctuating cost. You're going to watch your cost per lead go up and down and up and down. You're going to see some ads perform good, some ads perform bad. You're going to test new things. You're going to see lots of transparency. Your cost per lead is going to go up and down, which means the number of leads that you get is going to go up and down. But if it's done correctly, your quality should stay about the same. So we've got users who have had ads that hit that they're generating 1,200 leads off of one single ad at $8, $9, $10 a piece, and then other people who, depending on the day, they can have a $70 cost per lead. Now, if you zoom in close enough, you're like, oh, this is scary, a $70 cost per lead. But you zoom out and you look at it's a $30 cost per lead for the month. So there's a lot of different schools of thought when it comes to that. On a buy per lead, you don't really have any control of the ads that they're running. You have no control over what's going on internally. With a management contract, you at least get to see, when the ads are doing well versus when the ads aren't doing well. And then there can be adjustments that are made on the fly. Now, people on management contracts, it's a great thing, but also it's a stressful thing because you're seeing everything and all the changes up close in detail when you see that the Facebook ads aren't performing like they used to. And you might get scared of, I should probably jump ship and go somewhere else. But the honest truth is, everybody in the life insurance space is dealing with the exact same changes when it comes to special ad category and targeting. So what's the solution? The solution is better ads, better content that actually call out the individual that you want to talk to. So rather than doing the generic whiteboard ad and then just, and then being able to target, I want people who make this, your ad needs to target the people that you want to talk to. So demographics, who's the person in the ad? What do they look like? How old are they? Does the ad have an age range on it? Like there's so many things in the ad copy to the video that are all applicable that are now so much more important now that targeting is open. So you have to have better ads. So in the past, you could get away with having medium to horrible ads that if you had the targeting right and you spend enough money, you can make it work. Now, you don't really get to target. So that means we're all competing against each other with no targeting. So who wins? People who actually run good ads. Now, what's a good ad? We're learning every single day. And the only way to do that is through testing. Testing is something that requires an incredible amount of patience and an incredible amount of money and budget. And, we've kind of learned some things. We're using our own money to do all this testing, number one. But number two, testing, like, you could spend, an ad manager could spend an hour in one person's account, turning things on and off, things that are working, things that aren't working. If they get caught up, you could spend way too much money on this ad and go, okay, crap, we should have turned that one off. That one wasn't performing. Let's pour the money here. So what do we have to do? We have to come up with tools and AI and systems to be able to track ads and split test for you. And we've got some pretty cool technology with some of the companies that we work with that help automate a lot of that process, where you used to have one ad manager that could handle 25 accounts because they literally had no more bandwidth. We're at a point with some tools and technology that now one ad manager can handle 50 to 75 accounts because they have AI tools to help A/B split test and go in and check. I'm saying things that I probably am not qualified to say. I don't run the leads. I'm using words that I've heard before. We do a lot of testing, and we have AI that is in the background doing that testing for us, turning ads that are performing up and turning ads that are not performing down or off. So it's doing all that adjusting that used to have to be done by a manual person. Most people in our space are still doing it by hand. So these ads aren't getting the eyeballs that they should be getting. And we're using tools and AI to help make sure that people's ads are being looked at. And again, we don't have it figured out. We don't have perfect leads. But again, we're staying ahead of the curve to make sure that we can get through this testing phase.
With everything that you just said, I think for the individual producer at the end of the day, you can really get sidetracked with all the things that you just mentioned, cost per lead, what the ad is, the lead is. Like when you and I started, there was none of that. At least in our ecosystem, like you didn't question the leads, you didn't talk about the leads, you just went to work and we crushed. And so I would caution anybody, right? Like here we are talking how we're doing all this stuff, but like at the same time, I think there is something, if you're selling, right, to having the attitude of, at the end of the day, to get the ball down the field, you can pick up the phone, reach out to somebody, book an appointment. If you can do that, you can probably sell insurance. And so, yes, should you investigate this stuff? Yes. Yes, should you become more compliant? Obviously. Yes, you should become 1% better every day and learning about this stuff? Yes, you should. But at the end of the day, you can go out and help people make an incredible income just by getting busy. And so I think you should, not forget that. But on the other hand, right, you should, investigate or team up with people that are coming alongside you to provide resources so you can do what you do. And I would add the caveat to like, if you're like, well, how am I doing? Because we talk to agents every day. Jamie, how many times have you talked to an agent? They're like, I feel like the leads aren't working. I feel like this isn't working. I feel like that's not working. And it's like, I feel, right? I talked to an agent, one of our agents that are using our leads last week, talked to a number of them. And one of the agents was like, man, I just feel like this isn't going right. And we went to look at his data, and he was selling 8 to 9 times his ad spend. So for every dollar he spent on ads, he was getting 8 to 9 times back, which that's called ROAS.
That's incredible.
Ad spend. I think anybody would go, Dad, sign me up for that. I spend $1 and I make 8 or 9. And so that's what he was doing. So it was going very well. And so I would say, if you got a pretty decent lead and you're a pretty decent producer, you should be selling 6 to 8 times what you're spending. Now, if you're crushing it more than that, rock on. We had some people that run our leads in our software that 20x'd what they spent. So definitely. But if you're doing 6 to 8, that's a healthy business. Now, if you're doing less than 6, what is it, right? And if you're not sure what it is, let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it, right? I talked to somebody earlier this week, and they're like, I don't know why I'm not, hitting that 6 to 8 times. It comes to find out that they're really bad at setting appointments, right? Like they can get the person to say yes to the appointment, but they can't get them to show up to the appointment. And so we had to talk about that, right? And so you can figure it out. This is all like just, it's math. It's figuring things out. It's not like this woo-woo, I don't know, I'm lucky today and I sold a lot, I'm not lucky tomorrow, right? It's all figure outable, I guess. So anyway.
So I guess to kind of finish this up, I mean, just a couple tips and tricks here to stay ahead. Like you got to follow the new texting rules so you don't lose your ability to send text. If you're doing Facebook ads and you're running them yourself, they got to stand out with strong stories, clear messaging, clear targeting in the ads. And then like if you're not using AI tools to make your marketing easier and more effective, then you're going to get left behind for the people who are. So that's a lot to do when you're trying to be an insurance agent and you're also trying to build an agency. So, here at Lead Champ, we make compliance easy. All of our sites come with built-in pages and forms that follow all of the A2P rules. We've got tools that are going to help us figure out what Facebook ads are going to perform and which ones don't. Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience, but if you're willing to take that ride with us and be patient, we can get you a great performing IUL ad at this point in time and adding new ad types in the future. And we can really, help take care of a lot of that hard stuff when it comes to compliance. So you can focus on what you're good at, which is selling. So at the end of the day, you kind of have two choices here. You can take what we've shared and you can go figure it out yourself, or you can partner up with Lead Champ and, have, experts kind of handle it for you. And, I just want to make sure when I say experts, we're not the experts. We've hired some great people. And just in the last month, we've hired 4 full-time staff. I think we have 6 virtual assistants. Like we're a legit operation at this point that's growing very quickly. And we're bringing on some A players. So people who can help you get this thing up and rolling. So guys, these changes, they don't have to slow you down. If you've got the right tools and the right strategies, you can grow your lead flow, you can stay compliant, and, Lead Champ, we're here to help you do what you do best, which is keep selling insurance.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that said, you can subscribe to the channel, or if you're watching, appreciate you being on here. Make sure you hit the next one, and we'll see you on the next video.